Welcome back to KA MMA. I'm Khalil Deal.
Mandio.
And we are KA MMA about to talk about UFC Vegas 99, Michel Pereira versus Anthony Hernandez. And we're talking about our early predictions for the prelims. So let's get into it, man. We'll talk about who's in the prelims. We got Rebellis Despain versus Austin Lane. That's the first fight. Then we got Alice Ardelean versus Melissa Martinez. Jessica Penne versus Elisa Reed. Jocelyn Edwards versus Tamiris Vidal. 3 women fights in a row. Then we have Brad Katona versus Jean Matsumoto. And finally, Mateus Nicolau versus Asu Almabayev. So we're going to get right into it. And let's start with the first fight here. We got Rebellis Despain versus Austin Lane. Who you got here, Andy O?
Yeah, I guess if you have this quality of women's fights, like 3 of them on a card like this, it's better to put them all in on, stuff them all in on the prelims, eh?
Yeah.
But before that, we're treated to Despain here in Austin Lane. My pick here has to be Despain. I don't have much faith in Despain, but I have far less faith in Austin Lane. I know he's a huge dog. I still think Despain is going to win. He's kind of freak showy, Despain, with those wild punches that do have effect, man. The guy packs a punch. Austin Lane, after watching his fights in the UFC and even some before that, I still don't know exactly what this guy does, except that he gets very tired very fast. It's like he doesn't really come in with a game plan, and he's there to be hit, man. And I predict one of those power shots will find their mark for Despain and knock him out flat.
Yeah, man. I am
You real deal.
on board with you. I am on board with you here. I am also picking Rebellis Despain to get the win here. Both of these guys are pretty big, tall guys. Now, Austin Lane is used to fighting guys smaller than him. He's at 6'6". For the first time, he's going to face a guy who's his height and a little bit more at 6'7", which is pretty cool. These guys are both the same age, 36 years old. But I like the reach advantage for Rebellis Despain. He's going to have a nice, significant 4-inch reach advantage there, which is going to definitely help him out in his punches, for this, especially those straight punches that he likes to do.
Yeah, it may in a wild shot, it may give him more space. That's right. Like just for the fact of swinging it, it's going to be able to go farther, right? But as
Exactly. The
far
fact,
as technical ability, I don't know.
yeah, but he could like keep a nice distance and hit him with straight punches. Austin Lane is not really very durable. Now, Austin Lane, in his UFC debut, got a no contest against Justin Tafa there. There was an unintentional eye poke. But then after that, proceeded to lose to Justin Tafa by knockout. What do we say? Don't trust the Tafa. Last week, the fucker won. But hey, Justin Tafa knocked out Austin Lane in his in that fight for.
He grabbed the fence twice last week. I just wanted to say.
Yeah. So he got knocked out by Justin Tafa. And then the fight right after that, it was a fight against Jonathan Deniz, where he also got knocked out with a left hook. So we can see that Austin Lane's not that durable, right? And these guys are not necessarily the strongest guys in the heavyweight division. Justin Tafa knocked him out, and so did Jonathan Deniz. Now, I mean, if those guys can knock him out, why not Rebellis Despain, who's also a fucking monster, very powerful as well. And in his UFC debut for Rebellis Despain, he knocked out Josh Parisian in his first UFC debut. Then he lost to Waldo Acosta by unanimous decision. Now that fight was very, very crazy to me, because I remember watching that fight and I was like, how the fuck is Waldo still alive? This guy has the chin of granite. Rebellis was punching the shit out of Waldo Acosta in that fight. Landed many tough, hard punches to the face, and Waldo just was able to take them. Later on in the fight, of course, Waldo did more and was able to beat him, but it was just unbelievable, the durability of Waldo in that one. That's not going to be the same for Austin Lane. So
the most impressive thing to me about that fight was the fact that Robolik showed that he can actually survive 3 rounds, and he has the cardio to do that. I don't
Yeah,
and
that's another thing. The fact that he went the whole 3 rounds shows me that he's has some cardio and he's got a good gas tank. So, like you said there, for him to go the 3 rounds, man, definitely like his gas tank there. I got Rebellis Despain winning this one by knockout over Austin Lane for sure. Very confident in that as well too. All right, let's move on up to the next fight. We got the ladies. We got Alice Ardelean versus Melissa Martinez. Now, this fight, I watched the fight for Melissa Martinez, and I watched also Alice Ardelean. The fight with Melissa Martinez versus Gloria Bravo. Bravo tried her hardest to take her down. Got her in the clinch, just could not take her down. Melissa Martinez takedown defense was very good. She was very, very strong and was able to fend off the takedown attempts by Bravo. Melissa, in the end, was able to get her with a lot of high kicks and pummeled her with some punches. Ended up winning that fight. Against Desiree Yanez, she got taken down actually several times, but always got back up. Desiree Yanez was landing ground and pound punches and was actually fucking up Melissa Martinez, but Melissa Martinez hung in there. She fought through the round, ended up winning a split decision in that fight. And against Ivana Martinengi, she fucked her up completely with a bunch of punches and combinations. I like her kicks and punch combinations. She throws a kick, then throws 2 punches. I like Melissa Martinez to throw a lot of combinations in this fight. Now, against Alice Ardelean, when I watched the fight with her against Anna Maria Pal, she really did not look good. She couldn't get the takedown on Anna Maria Pal, and it was very, very close, that fight. And Anna Maria Pal was able to land a lot of punches on her. So I could see Melissa Martinez stuffing the takedowns for Alice. If Alice doesn't get the takedowns, her striking is not that great. And, Melissa Martinez can outstrike her for sure with combination punches and stuff like that. So I definitely like Melissa Martinez in this one to get the win by decision. I just feel like she's going to be too good for Alice in the striking game. Even against Shauna Bannon, Alice Ardelean was not able to really do much to Shauna Bannon. Had a hard time taking her down. Shauna Bannon was also able to land a lot of nice kicks and punches to her. So I think Melissa Martinez is a better striker than Shauna Bannon. So I'm going to go with Melissa Martinez to get the win here by decision. What about you, Andy O?
Yeah, for this low level fight, I'm definitely going with the one that has a higher upside in Melissa Martinez. With her, I think she's a little better in the clinch. She is better at striking. She comes at you with more angles, and she's certainly better at distance striking. And my advice to her would be stay out of the clinch. Alice Ardelean does have a 2-inch reach advantage, but that won't help her when it comes to Martinez's kicks, which she uses everywhere, like a healthy dose to the body, head, and even legs. In fact, in her last fight, she was doing a good job with those low leg kicks against Elise Reed. With Ardelean, she's more of a headhunter when she strikes, 80% or 85% are all to the head. She doesn't work the body enough at all. And I think Martinez is going to end up getting back up if she gets taken down by Ardelean.
Yeah.
So Martinez, I say, is going to win it by the striking. She should just keep it safe with her movement and win on points. That's what I think will and should happen here. And let's face it, man, Ardelean, those losses come from somewhere. And
9-6 record, come on, and the 7-1 record for Melissa is very good. And also, I wanted to point out, it's Melissa that has the 2-inch reach advantage.
Oh, she does. Okay, so there you go. On top of that, I was just looking to see who the best opponent that Alice Ardelean beat, and I guess you would have to say it would be Anna Maria Pal at 3-4. So
pretty much, yeah. And even when she fought that girl Jessica Munyemni, who was 2-0 at the time, she fought her and got a win, but it was a doctor stoppage because of a ground and pound. She was able to take her down often, and if she can't take down, like I said, the fights that she fights, if she doesn't take down the fighter, she has a hard time on the feet. So that's what happened with Shauna Bannon. She wasn't able to take her down enough to get the win, and Shauna Bannon pieced her up on the feet. So Melissa Martinez should do the same. Let's move on up. Both of us picking Melissa Martinez here. We're in agreement in the first 2 fights. of the prelims. Let's go on to this next one here. We got Jessica Penney against Elise Reed. Who you got here?
Wow. Okay. Another women's fight here, and I gotta go with Jessica Pinay here. I know she's old.
Come on, man.
Yeah, man, she's fighting someone just as old as her, and
No, it's a 10-year difference.
yeah, that's what you think. That's what they say. But anyway, I still think she's has more grit and feistiness. She had a lot to prove coming off that 4-year layoff for drugs. But what she does have that's better than Elise Reed is I think she's stronger. Her striking is just awful, but it's going to be a mucky fight. Reed's going to try and take her down because she's trying to improve her takedowns. Once that happens, Juliana Pena, where she is a lot better than Elise Reed, is her subs. I'm thinking it's going to get sloppy down there. Jessica Penney is going to get a top position at some point. She's heavier and stronger. She's going to hold her there, work her way for a sub, and I think late in the fight she's going to get it after a rocky start. So give me Penney on this one by sub or decision. Hopefully sub.
Wow, man, that's our first disagreement of the night. I definitely cannot go for Jessica Penney, man, in this one here. I gotta go. I gotta go with Elise Reed. Elise Reed is a dog, man. She's been pretty fucking good in the UFC.
Just because she beat Martinez? No.
Well, she fought some pretty decent fighters too. Sam Hughes,
Oh yeah, Sam Hughes, man.
Uma Lubumi,
Wait a minute.
Hugh Fry, Lupita Godinez. You know,
She doesn't beat these guys.
well, she beat Jinu Fry, and she beat Melissa Martinez. But I mean, Elise Reed is 31 years old. We're talking about the old Jessica Penney at 41 years old, whose striking absolutely sucks. You know, Jessica Penney just coming off a two loss skid here against Tabitha Ricci, where she got submitted by Tabitha Ricci. Also coming off a loss against Emily Ducote, who's not really that amazing, was able to beat her by unanimous decision. The last two wins were against Karolina Kovalchuk and Lupita Godinez, you know, so she even lost to Danielle Taylor.
That was 8 years ago.
It was a long time ago, that's true, but I think Elise Reed is just a little bit better than Jessica Penney. I like her better on the feet. I think the 10-year difference in age, man. Like Jessica Penney is getting older, man. She bruises easily too. You see her face gets fucked up very easily in fights. She gets cut up very easily. I think that's going to be an advantage to Elise Reed because she's going to look like the fresher fighter in this fight. Elise Reed will land a lot of punches to Jessica Penney's face. Very good striker. She's a good boxer. You know, she has some takedowns. She has some grappling. But she has to, like you said, she has to be careful not to get too fancy on the ground there because she could get subbed. But Jessica Penney gets bruised and battered very easily, man. Her face gets cut up easily. I could see a doctor stoppage because of her face getting too fucked up. But I definitely have Elise Reed winning this one by decision. I think she's just a little bit better than Jessica Penney. You know, I'm going to go for the younger fighter, the fighter who still has a good shot to move in this division. So I like her. She's been on she lost one, and now she's due for a win. So I'm going to say she wins this one by decision here against Jessica Penney. All right, we're not going to stay too much about talking about these women fights. Let's move on up. We have another women fight, which is going to be Jocelyn Edwards versus Tamiris Vidal. Now, normally I would go with the one that looks more like a man, which is Tamiris Vidal.
Yeah.
But I am going to pass on it and go with Jocelyn Edwards. Jocelyn Edwards, I like her, man. She's very, very good. She's very feisty in there. Tough fucking girl. She goes in there and fights hard. Good punches, good kicks. She can fend takedowns. I know that she's not looking good with in her last two fights there, but one of them was a robbery. Okay, and people know it because I remember this fight. I was 100% sure that Jocelyn Edwards had won that fight, and then they gave it to the other girl. Let me just go back and see who that was against again. It was against Nora Cornell. That fight was a robbery. Jocelyn Edwards did way more damage to Nora Cornell, took her down, did a lot of damage, and she ended up losing that fight. But
I think I picked cornhole in that one.
yeah, you did, and you got lucky in that one. She did lose by unanimous decision to Eileen Perez, but Eileen Perez is a very good up and coming prospect. She looks really good.
Look, that's a great loss because Jocelyn Edwards, she's a grappler, right? First, and man, she was giving her a hard time, and we see how good she is. What? Sorry, you just mentioned her.
Eileen Perez.
Yeah, Eileen Perez is just awesome on the ground, and she was holding her own. I know she lost that fight, but like Vidal doesn't have anywhere near the grappling of that.
Also to note, Jocelyn Edwards is going to have a nice 2-inch height advantage, a nice 2-inch reach advantage as well. I see her beating Tamiris Vidal. Vidal starts to slow down in her fights. You saw Vidal get knocked out by Melissa Gatto in that last fight from body shots. So obviously her body, if she gets hit in the body there, she's not very durable there. Also lost also to Montserrat Rendon by split decision. So, you know, she hasn't been really looking that great. Only won one fight in the UFC against Ramona Pasquale in her debut. Whereas Jocelyn Edwards beat Ramona Pasquale as well. Also beat Ji Young Kim and Lucy Pudilova. So I like Jocelyn Edwards' chances in this one to get the win. I think she's just a better fighter than Tamiris Vidal. And I think she'll be able to land some good punches, land a lot of punches, a lot of kicks, and possibly even get a takedown on Tamiris Vidal and ground and pounder, or at least the win by control time. So I got Jocelyn Edwards winning by decision. What about you?
Yeah, I got Jocelyn Edwards myself here. Good grappling, heavy on top when she gets on top. She has good control. As mentioned, against Aileen Perez in the grappling she showed there impressed me. So I think that's only gonna help her against Vidal. Vidal has power. She probably has more power than the average of this division. I see her winning if she does by something in the way that she beat her last opponent that you mentioned in the UFC with like a flying knee or something like that when Jocelyn Edwards comes in. But I don't think that's going to happen. Chances of that happening are slim. I do think Edwards has shown tiny improvement throughout her fights to me, even the one she lost. And yeah, I think she did get probably robbed in that fight against Cornhole, but it made me money, so no biggie. She's going to pick up a win here. Let's go. By decision.
All right, we're in agreement with that one as well. Now we are going to get to the main event of the prelims. We got here Brad Katona versus Gene Matsumoto.
All right, so Brad Katona, to me, is a guy that can only beat guys that can barely make it into the UFC, such as Jesse Butler, who he beat last time. He lost to Garrett Armfield. Garrett Armfield, not the greatest, but I saw no surprise in that win. And who else did he beat before that? Cody Gibson. Another guy who's like a Jesse Butler. Like all of these guys are competing for that like last UFC spot, and Katona won the battle. As for this one, he's gonna have to imply his wrestling. That's the only thing he really does kind of well. But once he gets you down, I don't think he really does much with it. He's not the greatest at holding people down. He's not the greatest at inflicting damage down there. He's not the greatest at submissions down there. Whereas Gene Matsumoto, man, he's a striker first. But even if he gets taken down by Katona, I see him looking for subs. I see him squirming around. I see him getting back up. And when he does, I see him winning the points battle. I even see a potential knockout, but Katona can last. If anything, yeah, like there's a good chance he's going to last against guys like Matsumoto. So give me Matsumoto by decision or possible KO.
Nice. We're in agreement as well. In this one, I got Gene Matsumoto as well. Gene Matsumoto is looking good, man. I mean, this guy in his UFC debut fought against Dan Argueta. Dan Argueta, another guy who loves to grapple, who loves to wrestle, who's also tries to, take you down and look for subs. But Gene was able to get a submission on him, which was very impressive in that fight. And I think he took the fight on short notice too. Brad Katona is a guy who also likes to grapple and also likes to wrestle a lot. So I could see Gene being very, very good and defending the takedowns, just like Garrett Armfield did against him. Fended off those takedowns, landed very good strikes, landed a lot of punches. The better striker is Gene Matsumoto for sure. Brad Katona, with those little arms of his, has a very short reach at 64.5 inches, whereas Gene will have a 4-inch reach advantage at 68.5 inches. So that's very good there. Like I said, Brad Katona not looking good on the feet. He's just more of a wrestler type of guy. And Gene Matsumoto can fend off those takedowns. And if he gets taken down, he could do some reversals. He could look for subs. So he could possibly submit Brad Katona like he did with Dan Argueta, who was trying to fool around too much on the ground with Gene Matsumoto in that last fight. So I like the younger guy too at 25 years old. Gene Matsumoto is an up-and-coming prospect here, looking real good. A much younger guy with the reach advantage and the skills that he has. I think he could beat a guy like Brad Katona. I think the UFC is giving him a layup here. So I got Gene Matsumoto winning this one by decision, or maybe a submission if he starts to play around on the ground. If Brad Katona wants to wrestle too much and lay on the ground a lot, I could see Gene Matsumoto locking in a submission of some sort.
Yeah, I'm just gonna check if he's ever been subbed, but yeah, he's never been sub Brad Katona. But hey, man, there's a first time for everything. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it happens here.
All right, so me and Andy O in agreement with almost all the fights in the prelims, just a disagreement in one of the fights. Let's see how we look on the main card. So stay tuned, folks, for our early predictions for the main card. KAMMA, like and subscribe. Leave a comment for the algorithm, man. I've seen some of you guys leaving some comments in our last videos, man. Try to get a few more comments in there. I don't care what you guys put. You know we're going to answer you guys. We love you guys. Take it easy. KAMMA. Peace out.